let's talk about when selling actually makes sense. So sometimes the smart investor in the room is the one who chooses to pay the tax and move on. So that might sound strange, especially if you have been trained to think that taxes are always the enemy and the 1031 exchange is always the smarter move. But here's the thing, right? A 1031 exchange is a tool. It's not a religion. It's not a rule that say every single investor must keep exchanging forever, no matter what's happening in their life, their portfolio, or the market, right? So there are times when exchanging is absolutely powerful, but there are also times when forcing an exchange can create more stress, more risk, and less flexibility than simply selling, paying the tax, and walking away with clean cash. And that's what this lesson is about, right? Not about to avoid tax at all costs. It's how to make conscious, rational after-tax decisions that work best for you. Because the wrong question is, how do I avoid paying taxes? The better question is, after taxes, what option put me in the strongest position? So that small mindset shift can change everything for you. Why does it matter? A lot of investors feel guilty when they sell without exchanging. They feel like they failed. They feel like they left money on the table. They hear other investors say, never sell, always exchange. And then suddenly, instead of making a strategic decision, they are making an emotional one. But think about it this way, right? If you save taxes because today, but buy a bad replacement property, did you really win? If you defer tax, but lock yourself in a stressful property that you don't want to manage, did you really improve your life? If you chase an exchange just because the clock is ticking and ending up overpaying for something weak, is that actually wealth building, right? So most people don't realize this, but 1031 exchange can preserve equity, but it can also trap equity if the decision is forced, right? The goal is not to exchange just to exchange. The goal is to use your capital wisely. That means sometimes the right move is to exchange, sometimes the right move is to hold, and sometimes the right move is to sell. Pay the tax and use the remaining cash in a way that better fits your life. So let's walk through when selling actually makes sense. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, do you need liquidity? Right. So the first situation where selling might make sense is when you need liquidity. Liquidity simply means access to cash. So let's say you sell a rental property and after paying off debt and closing costs, you have a large gain. A 1031 exchange might allow you to defer taxes, but it also usually means your equity moves into another investment property. So that can be great if your goal is to keep building a real estate portfolio. But what if you need cash? So maybe you need money for retirement, right? Maybe you want to reduce debt. Maybe you have family need. Maybe you want more reserves because your portfolio has become too leveraged. Maybe you are tired of being asset rich but cash poor. Here's the thing. Equity inside a property looks good on paper, but it doesn't always solve real life problems, right? Because we all have expenses. A property can show a large gain, but that doesn't mean it gives you flexibility. If all your wealth is locked inside real estate, you might have net worth, but very little breathing room. So if selling gives you the cash to stabilize your life, lower stress, or reposition your finances, paying the tax may be worth it. The key is not to look at the tax bill by itself. You want to look at what the remaining cash allows you to do. Question 3, right? Or replacement opportunity weak. The second reason selling may make sense is when replacement opportunities are weak. So this is a big one. A lot of investors start 1031 exchange with the right intention, but then the market doesn't cooperate. The replacement properties is overpriced. The cash flow is thin. The location is weak. The financing is worse. The numbers don't really work, right? But because they don't want to pay tax, they feel pressure to buy something right away. That's where a good tax strategy can turn into a bad investment decision. Let's say you sell a property with strong equity. You start looking for replacement properties, but everything available is expensive, poorly located, or requires more work than you want, you may technically be able to complete the exchange. But what are you buying, right? You are not just buying tax deferral, you are buying the next property. And that next property matter. If you defer taxes, but buy a poor performing asset, the tax saving might not protect you from years of bad cash flow, repairs, vacancy, or regrets, right? Think about it this way. Paying tax is painful once, but buying the wrong property can be painful for years. So when replacement options are weak, selling and paying the tax can actually be the more disciplined decision. So sometimes the most strategic thinking you can say is, I'm not going to let the tax tail wag the investment dog. Question 3, has the property become too risky or stressful? This third question is when the property has become too much for you, right? Not every property age well, not every market improves, not every tenant situation stay manageable, and not every investor wants the same level of involvement forever. Maybe the property needs major repairs, maybe insurance costs are rising, maybe local rules are changing, maybe the neighborhood has shifted, maybe tenants have become harder to manage, maybe the property still looks good financially, but it's draining your time and energy. So this is where investors need to be honest with themselves. A property can have equity and still be a bad fit. A property can have tax benefit and still create too much stress. A property can look profitable on a spreadsheet and still look like abundant in real life. So most people don't factor stress into the decision. They only look at gain, tax, and cash flow, right? But stress have a cost too. It can give you real physical health issue too, right? If the property is creating constant problem and you no longer want that type of risk in your life, selling may be reasonable. Now, this doesn't mean every stressful property should be sold immediately, but it does mean you should compare the tax cost against the cost of staying, because sometimes staying in a property just to avoid tax is not really a strategy. It's avoidance. Question 4 that you want to ask yourself, do you want to exit real estate completely? This happens more often than people admit, right? Because some investors reach a point where they don't want any more tenants. No more repair. They don't want any more financing, no more insurance issues or property management, right? They may be retiring. They might want simplicity. They might want spending more time with family or travel more. They might want their wealth to be easier to manage. And if that's the goal, forcing a 1031 exchange might work against the life that they actually want, because an exchange keeps you in the real estate game. It can change the property, but it doesn't fully remove the responsibility that comes into owning investment real estate. So if your real goal is to simplify, then selling might be the cleaner move. Yes, taxes matter, right? But your goals also matter. If the purpose of wealth is to give you options, then it doesn't make sense to let tax deferral push you into a life that you no longer want. Some practical applications for you. So how do you actually use this, right? You want to start by comparing two paths. So path 1 is exchange path, right? So you sell the property, you defer the tax, and then move the equity into another property. Then you ask, either a replacement property is strong. Does it fit my goal? Do I still want to own real estate? Am I comfortable with the risk, debt, location, and management? Path number 2 is the sell path. So if you sell the property, pay the taxes, and keep the after tax cash, then you ask yourself, what can the cash do for me, right? Does it create liquidity? Does it reduce stress? Does it help me retire? Does it give me flexibility, right? Does it protect me from buying something just because I'm trying to avoid tax? Let's say an investor sells a rental and has a large taxable gain. Emotionally, they don't want to pay the tax. That's normal. So nobody like writing that check. But the replacement property is available a week. The investor is tired. The property they sold was stressful. And what they really want is liquidity and simplicity, right? If that's the case, paying the tax might not be a failure. It may be the price of freedom. Now compare that with another investor who still wants to grow, has strong replacement option, and does not need liquidity. So that person may be a much better candidate for an exchange. So same tax tool, different life situation, different answer, right? So that's the point. A 1031 exchange is powerful when it supports the investor real goal. It becomes dangerous when it replaces thinking. The key takeaway is this, right? Don't choose selling because you are frustrated. Don't choose exchanging because you are afraid. You want to run the number, look at the tax cost, look at the after tax cash, look at the replacement option, look at the risk, look at your actual life. Then make the decision consciously, right? Because the smart investor is not always the one who pays the least tax today. The smart investor is the one who understands what they are buying, what they are giving up, and what kind of life their money is supposed to support.